Tonight, before you fall asleep, you're going to do something you don't even notice anymore. You'll check the door, you'll glance at the window, you'll pull the blanket up over your shoulder just a little higher than it needs to be. It feels like nothing. But the real answer is far stranger. Every human on Earth does this. Not most, not the majority. Every single one, in every culture, in every century, on every continent. The rituals look different. A locked door in Tokyo, a tucked mosquito net in rural Uganda, a checked latch on a cabin in Norway. But underneath the surface, it's the same behavior wearing 1,000 different costumes. You are securing your space. You are closing yourself off from the world before you let your guard down completely. Why would that be universal? Why would a species spread across every climate, every religion, every possible way of living, all converge on the exact same instinct the moment the lights go out? The answer takes you back further than civilization, further than agriculture, further than fire even. It takes you back to a time when sleep wasn't safe at all. Picture it. You're an early hominin on the African savanna, roughly 2 million years ago. Your species hasn't invented shelter yet. Not really. There's no roof, no door, no lock, just open grassland, tall enough to hide something with teeth. And every night, for 8 hours or more, you have to do the single most dangerous thing an animal can do in a predator-rich environment. You have to go unconscious. Think about how absurd that is. You can't run, you can't see, you can't hear a warning and react in time. For a species with slow reflexes, no claws, no fangs, and no fur thick enough to stop a bite, sleep should have been a death sentence. And yet you're here. Your ancestors slept anyway, every single night, for millions of years, and somehow survived long enough to become you. That shouldn't have worked, unless something was compensating for the danger. This is where the anthropologist Carol Worthman comes in. Worthman spent decades studying something most researchers ignored entirely: how sleep actually happens across different human societies, not in sleep labs, but in real villages, real huts, real family groups. What she found broke the assumption that sleep is a private, individual act. In most traditional societies, people don't sleep alone. They sleep in clusters. Multiple bodies, multiple sets of ears, arranged so that someone is always partially aware. Sleep, Worthman argued, isn't something humans do as individuals. It's something they do as a group defense system. That single idea reframes everything. Sleep was never really off. It was distributed. While your body rested, someone else's ears were tuned to the dark. And your body did its part too, in ways you're not conscious of. That's where a second thread of research picks up the story. The evolutionary anthropologist Charles Nunn, working with primatologists studying dozens of species, found a consistent pattern across the animal kingdom. Species that sleep in exposed, dangerous locations don't just sleep less. They sleep differently. Lighter, more fragmented, more easily interrupted. Nunn calls this the ecology of sleep, and the pattern holds all the way up the primate family tree, straight into humans. Where you sleep has shaped how you sleep for millions of years. So before there were locked doors, there were sleeping trees. Chimpanzees build a new nest every single night, high in the canopy, out of reach of leopards and hyenas. Before there were nests, there was simply huddling, proximity, bodies pressed together, because a predator has to get through the outer layer before it reaches the center. Your ancestors weren't choosing comfort when they slept close together. They were choosing to not be the one on the edge. Now fast forward. Fire changes things. A burning perimeter keeps most predators at a distance, and suddenly sleep gets a little deeper, a little safer. Caves change things too. A single entrance means only one direction to defend. Anthropologists have found that early human shelters going back over 100,000 years consistently favor enclosed, defensible spaces over open ones. Not the most comfortable spot, the most defensible one. You can start to see where this is going. Every version of shelter your species has ever built, from a cave mouth to a mud hut to a fourth-floor apartment with a deadbolt, is solving the exact same 2-million-year-old problem. How do I make myself unfindable, unreachable, or uninterruptible for the 8 hours a night I can't defend myself? But there's a piece of this puzzle that's even stranger, and it's happening inside your skull, not in your bedroom. In 2016, sleep researchers Masako Tamaki and Yuka Sasaki, working out of Brown University, ran an experiment that revealed something almost unbelievable. When people slept in an unfamiliar place for the first time, one half of their brain didn't fully power down. It stayed measurably more alert than the other half, monitoring the environment like a night guard on duty. They called it the first night effect. And it wasn't random. It looked almost exactly like something scientists had already seen in dolphins and certain birds, animals that sleep with one hemisphere at a time, so they never lose full awareness of danger. Here's the astonishing part. Humans aren't supposed to do that. We're not aquatic mammals holding our breath at the surface. We don't need to watch for hawks mid-flight. And yet, under the right conditions, your brain still knows how to do it. The wiring for partial vigilant sleep never disappeared. It's still in there, waiting for a signal that says, this place isn't safe yet. And that's the part that should stop you, because if that ancient circuitry is still active, still checking, still deciding whether it's safe to fully let go, then every small ritual you do before bed isn't a habit. It's a negotiation with that circuitry. You are, every single night, trying to convince a 2-million-year-old alarm system that it's allowed to stand down. The locked door isn't really about the door. It's a signal. The dimmed lights aren't really about comfort. They're a signal. Checking on your kids one more time, plugging in your phone by the bed where you can reach it, pulling the covers up over your shoulder like a smaller, softer version of a cave wall closing behind you. These are all the same ancient message translated into modern furniture. Perimeter secure. You can power down now. This is why hotel rooms feel harder to sleep in, even when the bed is objectively better than your own. It's not the mattress. It's the missing history. Your brain has no data confirming this space is safe, so it keeps a light on somewhere inside, just in case. This is why new parents sleep so lightly during a baby's first few months, waking at the faintest sound, long after conscious worry should have exhausted itself. The vigilance isn't a choice. It's the oldest operating system you have, quietly running underneath everything else. And it explains something even more personal. That restless, can't quite drift off feeling you get in an unfamiliar apartment, a new relationship's bed, a hospital room, a hostel on the other side of the world. You're not failing to relax. You're mid-negotiation. Some ancient part of you is scanning the dark, waiting for enough small signals of safety to finally agree that it's okay to close both eyes at once. There's something almost tender about that, if you sit with it. For every single night of your life, some quiet, ancient part of your brain has been standing at the edge of your consciousness, checking the perimeter before it lets you go. It has done this without pay, without thanks, without you ever noticing it was there. It did this for your parents. It did this for every human before them, back through every cave, every hut, every fire-lit clearing, all the way to a savanna where the wrong sound in the dark could end everything. You inherited a survival system built for lions and open grassland, and you're using it tonight to fall asleep in a climate-controlled room with a locked door and a phone within reach. The threats have changed almost completely. The system hasn't changed at all. It's still doing its one job, waiting for enough proof that it's safe to let go. So tonight, when you check the lock one more time, or glance at the window, or pull the blanket just a little higher than it needs to be, you'll do it without thinking, the same way you always have. But now you'll know what's actually happening underneath. It's not a habit. It's not superstition. It's the oldest ritual your species owns, older than language, older than fire, quietly repeating itself in a bedroom that would look like magic to the ancestor who first invented it.